Astonishing, really, developments out of Madrid. I'm sure one of your colleagues, sure you know him well, Diego Torres of El País, reporting about events at the Bernabeu. It was reported in the British newspaper as well, The Independent, that Zinedine Zidane is furious with his boss, Florentino Perez. All the promises made about acquiring Paul Pogba obviously haven't come to fruition. That he's even on the point of resigning. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think it would be pushing it to say that he's on the point of resigning right now. But I think, and Diego has been clear that this would happen for a while, or that this was a possible outcome. And actually, we've talked about it on this show before as a possible outcome that Zidane came back at the time that he came back because he was offered guarantees, because he was offered the chance to rebuild a squad, which is of course very different to the type of role that he did when he came in last time. That went hand in hand with a promise to buy the players that he wanted. And in particular as well, of course, to get rid of the players that he didn't want. And that includes James Rodriguez returning from loan at Bayern Munich and then moving him on. And of course, the man we've been talking about for so much this summer, Gareth Bale. Now, I don't think there's any doubt at all that you see the way, for example, that Zidane spoke about Bale, I think it was in Germany. That was a message, not just to Bale, but it was a message to his board of directors and his president as well. And I think there's no doubt that Zidane will be frustrated at what's happening. He will be frustrated at looking at this and thinking, this isn't quite what I was told would happen. But of course, there is a difference between a club that doesn't do what you want and a club that is trying to but unable to do what you want. It's not that easy to move Gareth Bale on.
No, that's the point. That's a great point. And it's exactly the point. It's something we've discussed in the show for weeks and weeks, is that Gareth Bale, for whatever reason, seems intent to say, look, I know you want me to go, but I'm holding a lot of cards here because I'm under contract and, you know, I'm going to stay and I'm going to fight for my place, whether the manager likes me or not. And as Sid said, you can try all you want. If a player and his agent decide they're going to sit tight until they get what they want, he ain't going anywhere.
It feels like Zidane was given certain assurances back in May that it was a risk.
Every manager is.
That's the thing, though, and which is why I sympathise with Zidane and how he feels about Gareth Bale. Listen, I understand exactly what Craig's saying, but then if you know that Gareth Bale is holding all this power, if you're Florentino Perez and you're not able or you're not willing to take that responsibility on, whether it's paying him up with what he wants or paying a part of his salary and moving him on, then don't make those guarantees. Not to somebody like Zidane, who the only reason he's coming back is because he feels things are going to be done his way.
I mean, the thing is, it's not as if Gareth Bale's a terrible footballer. You know, look, maybe he's not integrated into Real Madrid. We've been talking about that for years, but he's still an incredible talent. So the thing is, if they're not going to move him on, then Zidane's got to work with him. It's as simple as that.
Well, he's integrated into Real Madrid. I mean, he's not, obviously, there's all the stories about the language and the lack of it.
Right.
But the guy's been hugely successful there. The problem is Zinedine Zidane does not like him. So, you know, it's
but
not...
If you've got a big player who's, like you said, Chris, holding all these cards, you've got to get something out of him, surely.
Yeah. Sid, I know you're just back, but what are the chances in your book that Gareth Bale plays meaningful football for Real Madrid this season?
Well, look, I think there is a difference between the situation when you're trying to get a player out and a situation once the window has closed and the player is still in. And at that point, obviously, it becomes imperative, I think, to try and get something of him. When you're trying to force him out, of course, you tell him there's no way you'll play. At that point, maybe it shifts. But Zidane clearly does not like Gareth Bale and doesn't want him to play. The best scenario, and frankly, I think the scenario that Gareth Bale's camp have in mind, the best scenario for Gareth Bale is that, Zinedine Zidane doesn't last very long. And that whoever comes in and takes over from him does want Gareth Bale to play.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.